All the links to the original post are in the description. Now let's start with the video. I've 28F lost weight, and now I want to divorce my husband 29M. Sorry for the long post. We've been married for 5 years and together for 7 years. We also have a 3-year-old kid. After having the baby, I struggled a lot with losing the baby weight and adjusting to being a parent. I also had the baby blues at first, which was tough. I wasn't really focused on my appearance, and instead I was trying to figure out our new routine and way of life. But then my husband started making these little comments about my body and how I should start working out and wearing makeup again. It made me feel really awful, and I worried that he might start looking elsewhere because we weren't being intimate anymore. He even suggested hiring a nanny so I could have more time for myself, but I wanted to be there for our baby full-time, so I turned down the offer. That made him angry, and he started acting cold towards me. Months went by without any hugs, kisses, romance, or any kind of affection. My self-esteem hit rock bottom. Every time I looked in the mirror, all I saw were the flaws that my husband pointed out. By this point, our son was already 2 years old, and I desperately wanted to win my husband back. I thought that if I got in shape again, he would show me love and affection, and our marriage would be saved. I craved his attention so much, and it hurt to see how much things had changed. But you can't force someone to be affectionate. I took matters into my own hands and hired some help. With more free time, I started going to the gym, taking swimming classes, which are amazing for your back, by the way, getting my hair and lashes done regularly, and eating healthier. And guess what? I've lost a ton of weight, and I feel amazing. Suddenly, my husband started touching me, kissing me, buying me flowers, and treating me like the complete opposite of how he treated me before. You'd think that would make me feel better, but for some reason it made me feel worse. All I could think about were the hurtful things he said to me when I was at my lowest and how cold he was towards me. I get that you can't force attraction, but why couldn't he just hug me or give me a kiss on the cheek even when I was overweight? Why couldn't he love me as a human being and the mother of his child? When my self-esteem came back, I got really angry at myself for putting up with his behavior for so long. A few days ago, I told him I wanted a divorce because I don't think I can move past how badly he treated me. He apologized and promised to change and prove that he can be better. But honestly, I'm not sure if I can trust him again. What if I gain weight again or have to deal with health issues? Will he treat me like garbage again? I've talked to some friends and family about the whole situation, and some say I should give him another chance, while others say I should leave him. So I'm turning to Reddit for some advice. Am I justified in being upset over this? Do you think it's possible for my husband to change his behavior for the long term, or is a divorce the right move here? Now, before we move on, the story has an update. Thanks a lot for all the advice you gave me after my last post. It was really tough to make a decision, especially considering our son. So I sat down with my husband and had a conversation about what happened. He kept saying sorry, but I asked him if he actually understood why his behavior was hurtful. He just kept saying he was being a jerk, but I felt like he didn't really grasp why it was a problem. So I broke it down for him. I told him that saying I still look pregnant 3 months after giving birth or calling me a mess because of my dark circles, rolling his eyes when I wanted to show affection, not talking to me for days without any reason, and not wanting to spend time together were all really hurtful. And on top of that, he didn't offer the help so I could take care of my mental health. Instead, he wanted me to go to the gym and get in shape. When I reminded him of all this, he couldn't even look me in the eye and didn't say a word. The silence in the room was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. I just don't think he fully understands how badly he treated me. No amount of extra weight can justify that kind of behavior. I wouldn't treat a stranger like that, let alone someone I love. But for the sake of our son, I still offered him couples counseling. And guess what? He refused. He said he was afraid that the therapist and I would team up against him and make things worse. We went round and round in circles, and after almost 3 hours of talking, I finally had enough and told him I wanted a divorce. He tried to convince me that he could prove he can change, but when I asked him how, he just said I had to have faith in him and see it for myself down the line. That's just not good enough for me. I told him I was taking our son to my mom's place for the weekend, and that we would discuss everything before finalizing the divorce on Monday. He said okay, and we left. But now he won't stop blowing up my phone, begging for a second chance, and telling me how much he loves me and how he made a mistake. It's really disheartening to see how much he changed after we had our son. All I ever wanted from him was love, loyalty, and respect. But he didn't give me any of that in the past few years. I still wanted to give him a chance, but he doesn't want to put in the work to make things better. If it comes to that, I'll be able to raise our son on my own as I'm financially independent and secure. I also have a lot of help, so it'll be okay. I still want him to be a part of our son's life and be the best daddy he can be. But I can't be with someone who doesn't love or respect me. I wanted to thank you again for all your support and the advice you gave me. I thought my husband was the person I would grow old with, but the universe has other plans for me. It will be really hard to let him go, but I'm hoping it's for the better. Few responses from the community. Response 1. I gave an ex a second chance. One, it wasn't anything related to pregnancy or weight gain, but it doesn't matter. He was spending a disproportionate amount of time at work, was obsessed with making money, and although I admired how ambitious and responsible he was, I never felt we spent quality time together. He begged me for another chance. He said all the right things. He said even his friends told him he was wrong, and he sees it clearly now. He changed for a few weeks and slowly reverted back to his old ways, and the situation remained like that until I broke up with him for another reason. I will say I moved on ridiculously fast because I had so much going on that I didn't have time to cry. I had lots of friends' hobbies, and that's the only benefit to him not being part of my life that way. Edit. The lesson being that I wouldn't trust people when they say in desperation, "I'll change." More importantly, he needs to reflect and answer the question, what made you act in such an insensitive way? Response 2. It's too late for him to change now. The time for him to change was before you found your mojo again, back when you needed love and support and encouragement. He showed you who he is. He's only interested in having you as arm candy, not as part of a loving, supportive partnership. He wasn't there for you when you needed him. He will abandon you and be cruel to you again if you ever need him. His refusal to countenance therapy demonstrates his lack of intention to change. Good luck with your divorce. It's great to see someone on here with self-respect and a spine. Response 3. Unbelievable. He couldn't take an hour or two a week to put towards fixing the marriage he himself torpedoed? Yeah, this dude just doesn't get it, unfortunately. But he will one day when it finally sinks in how much he truly threw away, or maybe he won't. Either way, it's not your problem anymore. In a lot of ways, you've already grieved the loss of your marriage, while he made you feel like a burden rather than a wife. It might still sting for a while, but you're going to be just fine. Him, on the other hand, off. He's going to regret this, and probably for a very long time. And rightly so. Go be happy and have fun. Response 4. Good luck to you. I'm sure you'll have your moments of doubt, but always remember how he made you feel on several occasions. I would be afraid to gain any weight, or what if I developed a condition that caused weight gain? This is not the man you want by your side. A smidge different, but my ex-father-in-law came to live with us, and I became his sole caretaker as he had had a stroke. Toileting, out-of-house physical therapy, special diets, doctor apps, and medicine management, I left my job because I was so stressed, and the year he was there my ex didn't do literally one thing. Not one doctor app, not one trip to the bathroom, absolutely nothing. Found it disgusting, and he couldn't be bothered. We ended up breaking up for different reasons, but as soon as I left, he was sent to a nursing home. And that's where I visited him every week, where I would pick him up to run errands and go somewhere for lunch, which I did up until COVID hit and we were banned from the nursing home, and that is where he died before I could ever see him again. My ex never visited him once after getting him settled in. It showed me a lot. It showed me that if I were to get sick or be incapacitated in some way, that I would be sunk. He wouldn't help me. I'd be on my own. What I showed him was that I would do whatever needed to be done in times of sickness, because that is life. Good times, bad times, sickness, and health. But you take care of the people that are in your life. Now I'm with a man who cares just as deeply as I do, and is a lot like many of the men commenters have spoken about. Men who would never think of being so cruel and let their women know that weight is nothing but a number and they love them for them. Your husband has shown his true colors and better now than later. Move forward into life, and when you're ready, your vibe will attract a man unlike him. And if you put on some weight, knows now there is just more of you to love. Thanks for watching, and hit the like if you liked the video, and a sub to the channel would be awesome.